DAIII Live. My name is Don Allen III, and today we're going to try our best to work on a Batman character. And what we're going to do, ideally, is have it running pretty soon. And there we go. The stream is on. It is live in 3, 2, 1. Alright, cool. So this is working. Let me just take sure the sounds. Yep, sounds good. Okay. Alright. Get out of this infinite loop. I'm going to mute this guy. Alright, back to it. Alright, so welcome to Creativity with DAIII Live. What we're going to be doing right now is creating Batman. And we're going to be using Cinema 4D. It's going to be a fun tutorial, and let's get started. Alright, so here we are. We're in Cinema 4D. I have a reference image here online that I found. And what we're going to do is just start sculpting. So I'm going to change my menu from a standard startup menu to a standard view. There we go. And then we're going to bring this back down. Then we're going to actually change it to sculpting in a moment. Let me just start adding. We're going to start off with the helmet, I think. So we're going to open up a sphere right here. And cartoon character would be great if you could do... Oh yes. I'm not sure if I'm ready to share that trick yet. I have Instagram Live on here right now for those of you that are tuning in on YouTube. It took a while for me to set this one up, and I have to have some more thought before I share this one. But I'm happy to share the making of Batman in the tutorial right now. Alright, here we go. We're going to start off, select our sphere, and make it a tetrahedron instead of being divided into circles. So you can see, when you turn on the Gurdo shading lines, that right now our sphere is made of squares. But we want to change this. So what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to switch it to a tetrahedron. And that's going to make our sphere out of triangles. Again, for those of you just joining, welcome to Creativity with DAIII Live. We're going to be making Batman, and we're streaming live on YouTube and on Instagram at the same time. So let's see if this is going to work. All right, back to the show. Okay, so we just changed it. We're going to change our Cinema 4D to a sculpting mode. There we go. So this is going to bring up our sculpting tools here. And if we go out of our editor and go into a panel mode, we're able to start interacting with our sphere in 3D. Let me bring this back. So Batman's head is oval. The base of his head is oval shaped. So let's kind of work on that first. I'm going to go into my face selection tool, and we're in object mode. We got all these triangles. Hey, check out the latest post. Alright, I can definitely check out your Instagram post after this live broadcast tonight. I'm doing on YouTube and on Instagram at the same time. So I'm just trying to multitask here. Okay, here we go. Step 1, we're going to make sure that our sculpting tool is set up properly. I like to turn on the symmetry on the X and Y values. That way when I do an action on one side, it works on both. And then I'm also going to turn on the link size, so that whenever I change the size of the brush, it's going to change it to all the layers below. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're going to get started. Let's bring our character to life with some tricks. So the number one trick to doing this is using our best friends, our sculpting tools. So I like to start off with the pull tool and change the settings to have a lot higher pressure. And we're going to make sure that we have a huge brush. Kind of start off with big giant shapes. So I want to kind of start pulling out geometry that's going to make the chin of Batman. And we're going to just kind of round out the chin a little bit. And we're probably not going to show too much of the back of the head, so for the sake of time, we're not going to work too much over there. So I'm toggling between the pull tool and the grab tool. And one thing I just realized, I didn't turn on link symmetries. So let me actually turn on link symmetries. So what the link symmetry tool does in Cinema 4D is to make sure that your symmetry objects are turned on all different tools. So when I jump into the grab tool, I don't have to return on the symmetry. I will definitely give it a look, Paul. Thanks for letting me know. I'm down to see what people make in their art and different styles. It's always a joy. Alright, so kind of just playing around with this mesh, kind of bringing some volume into it. And I have a reference image on the left that I'm looking at And we gotta zoom in and out constantly to get a good feel for the character here. It's so late here, I have to go to bed. I wish I could stay and watch. I'm starting class soon. Oh, no worries. I'm actually recording this episode live right now on YouTube. So as soon as the tutorial ends, it should be accessible on YouTube. All right, we're just working on his head. No problem. Thank you so much for stopping by, though. I appreciate it. All right, what are we getting here? Kind of getting the general shape of his head going here. Kind of squash it down a little bit. All right, kind of looking around. Got to zoom away, make sure that the head's not too wide. That was a problem I was having with some of my earlier tutorials. Was the warping on the camera makes the head look like it's narrower up close. All right, cool. So this is a general shape of his head. He's got a kind of flat mouth, front face part, and then a really round upper bald forehead. This is just the vibe that we get when we're working with Batman here. All right, so now what we're gonna do, maybe I'll bring up this reference image over here. Oops, how do I shrink this down? Okay, the struggle. Let me push this guy over here. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Cool, so let's put our Batman over there so that we kind of got something to reference. I think I have another image of Batman in here somewhere. Where is it? Whatever. We'll do this for now. So he does have some pretty big cheekbones. So let's kind of like add those. And as you can tell, for me, I like to work with very broad shapes first. That's why we have a pretty low amount of polygons to work with. And that's good for the start. We're gonna, of course, change this up quite a bit as we get to Batman's forehead. And certainly his nose, we're gonna be bringing that detail out there in a little bit. Okay. All right, this is generally looking like the shape of his head. What I'm going to do now is subdivide our mesh. So I just click the subdivision tool and click once or twice. I forgot how to do it. How do I do this? We grab our subdivide. It doesn't appear to be doing anything. What's going on? Oh, there we go. I subdivided too many times. Let's go back. There we go. So let's do one subdivision. Now kind of just bring up some more details. Hey, Sume, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Instagram Live. I'm trying a very different approach with this tutorial tonight. I'm actually streaming live to YouTube as we speak at the link in my Instagram bio. And it's very fun to multitask. Alright, we're going to grab the details in the chin here and kind of bring a neck almost in there. Alright. But if you have any questions along the lines, let me know. I'll be checking back into the YouTube. Oh, we got a question that says, awesome, man. Hope you're playing royalty-free music. Might get copyright notice. Oh, crap. Thanks for the reminder. Let me not play this music. Where is it? Oh, no. I don't want this to get flagged. Hello. The behind the scenes. I'm trying to find where I put the music. Where are we? Sorry about that, folks. I'm still learning about the live broadcasting approach to things. Okay, the music is off now, so it's just the silence of the lambs. No, just kidding. All right, so what we're working on right now is I want to get some details in the cheeks. So I'm using the grab tool, and I'm just kind of pulling subtle details and pushing in subtle indents that we want to later use to define Batman's head. And it's important, like always, to kind of zoom in and out of your character to make sure that the face is coming along. If you always stay in a close, zoomed in approach, you're going to actually get some warping that you probably didn't want, but you also probably didn't even see. All right, so we're going to subdivide the mesh again. And now we're going to start kind of pulling more of a nose together. So I'm going to use the pull tool and decrease the size of the brush quite a bit. Kind of just pull out a really rounded nose at first, and then just some mouth details real quick. And some ridges around the skull. Now it's going to look weird at first because that's how all of my meshes end up looking, but I promise you, well, actually I don't promise anything, because you know what, I've never actually tried to draw Batman 3D live before, but I think if it's anything like the Deadpool one, it's going to be fun and it's going to be very doable. So right now I'm using the flattening tool, and I'm just going to start flattening some of the details out that I see on Batman's face. Kind of has like a flat ridge, almost like forehead thing going on. A really sharp pointy nose. Oops, there we go. Kind of go underneath the nose and flatten that a bit. And then his lips aren't that big, so we're just kind of just fix that real quick and see what we get in here. Okay. Okay, so we kind of, it's looking like a little chubby, and that's fine, but it's not exactly what I'm going for. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that right now. Let's go into our grab tool and kind of just, the pull tool, and we'll even drop the sides of the brush a little bit more. I really want to accentuate his that like ridge, because that ridge on his face and forehead thing, eyebrows, is what is really going to define Batman's geometry. Cool, cool. And then it's kind of has to go all the way up to the nose. And then of course we're going to need to flatten the nose. So I'm going to just bring the flatten tool right here on the sides. We want to make sure that Batman's nose is sharp and pointed. So I actually might just use the grab tool instead of the flatten tool, because it's a little bit more control with the mesh. There we go. Kind of just bring in some details in, and then we're going to increase the brush size quite a bit real quick and kind of bring down a furrowed eyebrow look, which is very, very Batman. You know, he's got these big indents. All right, now we're also going to go ahead and make a new subdivision. So we're just going to subdivide again. And I want to start making the indents inside of his mask for his, I guess, eye sockets. So I'm going to use the pull tool. If you hold Command on your keyboard or Control on the PC, it actually does the inverse of pull. It pushes the geometry in. And it's going to 100% look creepy during this part. So I apologize in advance for that. Okay. Cool. Now I'm going to use the knife tool. Actually, no. We're going to subdivide again. I'm going to use the knife tool. And he's going to look really weird, because that's how all of my characters start off looking. And I'm going to cut some indents of where it's going to be a harder edge. Right there, and there's going to be a hard edge right around the mask thing like this, and then it kind of tapers around his jaw. Oh, it doesn't go all the way to his chin. It kind of goes to his neck. There we go. It's looking like a chubby Batman. We're going to need to most definitely add what's called a some reflections and stuff, because I'm not going to keep him very well lit. In fact, I like the style of Batman in the 90s in the cartoons. It was very crime noir kind of look, and I miss that. I miss that about his new style. He's more of like an action guy, action film style. It's not bad, it's just different. It's not like what I remembered. Okay, there we go. We're going to just flatten out some of these details. His cheeks are looking a little weird, so we got to flatten that. And let's also kind of flatten this edge right here. You know, we're working with Batman here. Let me decrease the pressure intensity so it just flattens very gently, so we have a little bit more control as we sculpt our Batman character. Let's go ahead and flatten this part as well. And then this Batman happens to have a weird kind of thing going on with his nose. I've seen other Batmans where they have actually like 3 points of flat curves. So there's a flat part in the front, and then they do a flat triangle on the side. But this one that I'm referencing kind of just has just a normal looking triangle. So we're just gonna add that. And then what's the best way to do this? Oh, you know what? We can use the knife tool again. The knife tool, when you use it in a thin, very thin setting, it's great for creating harsh edges. So in this case, I do want harsh edges, but we're going to decrease the amount of pressure that those harsh edges are making, so that we kind of get a nice controlled cut into our character's geometry. And there we go. We kind of just cut that one down there. Yep. And then what we're going to be doing in a second is we're going to be doing a big change to his eyes, because I'm starting to see that the eyes are going in the wrong direction. In that we're not getting the I can't think right now. Let me see. Let me just use our flatten tool real quick. We're going to flatten this side of the edge of the nose, keep flattening it, keep flattening it. We want to make sure this is getting to like a point, but we don't want it to get too rounded at the tip of the nose there. So we can now use a new one, the pinch tool, to kind of pinch the nose together. There we go. Cool. And then we're going to just pinch some of these things together as well. And yeah, okay. Next, I'm just kind of looking around, seeing his kind of big head. I'm going to probably stay pretty zoomed in on this character so I don't get too much warping going on. His mouth is kind of freaking me out, so we're gonna smooth it. We're gonna smooth out the mouth. We're probably gonna redo the mouth altogether. But let me increase the size of our brush and kind of just smooth it out over here. Let me check YouTube comments real quick, wherever they may not or not be. Looking for the speaker icon tab. Uh-oh. Am I in silent mode? Oh no. Checking, checking, checking. Nope, looks like the speaker is on. Yeah, one mic is turned on. So I think that should be good. Let me ask if they can hear. Sorry about the wait, folks. Can you hear? All right, I'll wait for a response back. There's like a little bit of a delay in this. Okay, going back to it, we kind of got this frumpy look. I'm going to smooth that out. Next, we're going to use the flatten tool again and start to flatten out more geometry around his upper skull up here. Because his helmet is like metal, I think, or some really tough leather material. And I'm just going to go ahead and flatten out his mouth real quick. Yeah, we'll work on the mouth in a bit. Now we're going to use the grab tool, and we're going to totally increase the size of the grab tool quite a lot because we want to do a big design change to the nose. Sorry, not the nose, the eyes. So I just want to make sure that they're a little bit more squinty, more of that Batman squint. So kind of just moving the eyes down here. There we go. Sadly, I'm in college. Gotta go. Oh, bummer. But thank you for stopping by. Take care. There is a live recording of this that's going straight to YouTube as we speak. So you can always access it there if it's easier. Okay, so the sound is working. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, letting me know. Great. Oh, wow, I cannot type. Now it's just super clear that I can't type. So next, we're going to grab our knife tool, and we're going to cut a little opening in the mouth. But we got to make our brush much smaller. There we go. Just a little kind of mini frown. And we're going to just roughly get the lips of our Batman character here. And then he has these little lines that kind of go on his face like this. And yeah, and then we're going to also kind of just cut that a little bit. Now his nose is looking like the penguin. We're gonna need to fix that. So let's pull the character's lips. Oops. Turn down the pressure a lot and increase the brush size. There we go. Because I just want the mask to kind of go around his face. I don't want his face to be like puffing out of the mask. Wow, this looks really bad. But that's the fun in trying to sculpt live. Okay. Cool. So we're missing a very important part of Batman, and that's the bat part. So those pointy things. So let us proceed to that after we fix this nose just a little bit with the flatten tool. Again, we're in Cinema 4D. And this is a wonderful app, a wonderful tool for creating 3D art and animation. And it works really well with a lot of the Adobe products, and I highly recommend it to designers. Okay. His nose actually, wow, now that I'm looking at it, his nose is much wider. So I'm going to actually widen the nose quite a bit here. And then what we'll do to fix that weird gap that formed, we're going to use the smoother tool and just decrease the brush size a little bit and just smooth out that difference. We'll also kind of smooth out this edge. There we go. Looks a little bit better. Still needs a lot of work, but I like where it's going. Kind of smoothing this out, smooth that out. Okay. Let me just render out a quick frame real quick. He looks a little chubby. I'm gonna bring his face cheeks. I don't know what other kind of cheeks you could have, but face cheeks. We're gonna bring the face cheeks together. There we go. Just kind of just taper it. Whoa! Now he's like puckering. Let's fix the neck real quick. Actually, his jaw is pretty rounded. Oh, that's fun. But in all seriousness, oh, you know what? Also, I'm noticing his lips are actually much wider than what I have them. So let's widen the lips and make him a little bit more of a frown. Make him a little bit angrier because Batman's character is like kind of mad all the time. There we go. Kind of just working on that frumpy looking face. I'm going to smooth out this weird bend from the lip. So we're going to use our smoother tool in Cinema 4D and kind of just tap very lightly. I'm just using a mouse and keyboard right now. We could be using a stylus, but I forgot to set it up before I started the episode. So that's that. Let's go ahead and cut this right there. Interesting. I think there's a little bit too much going on with his face right here. I'm going to totally fix this, hopefully. With the grab tool, we're going to just grab a bigger portion of his chin and face and hopefully not make him look too stuffy. Interesting. All right, you know what we need before I continue? We need to put a light because the lighting in here is not correct. So right now I just hit the light button. We're going to go back into our standard view and it's going to change the size of Cinema 4D. So I'm going to resize it for you. There we go. And so let me just check the comments on YouTube. Oh, it's all good. All right, cool. Thank you, thank you. What we're going to do now is we have a light and it's placed by default in the very center. So if we bring it to the side, we're going to start getting some fall off on the character's face, which we're going to want because it will hide all the imperfections that I'm making. So what we're going to do now is just kind of move our light around until it's at an angle that creates some harsh shadows on the character's face, but enough that we can still see that it's Batman. And in a minute, so you can see that we're not going to see the side of his head ideally. We're only going to show the front because the side of the head got messed up from warping. Let me render out a quick frame real quick. Okay, cool. So this is looking creepy. We have a lot more work to do. We're going to make his lips a lot smaller. Lots of room for improvement, which is what I love. We can only go better, or we can get worse. All right. So just so we have it, let's make those sharp, spiky things, his ears, whatever they're called. And to do that, I'm actually going to use probably a, I was debating on using a pyramid tool or using a cone. But because they're not actually round, I'm going to use a pyramid. We're going to slide the pyramid to the side real quick. Oops, not him. I meant to slide the pyramid to our side. And we're just going to look at this pyramid real quick. What we're going to first do is reduce the width of the pyramid. And then we're going to reduce that height, or that depth, I mean. And we're getting that nice little Batman spike. Whatever you call those. Is it an ear? I'm not actually sure. Or are they like horns? Because every bat has horns. It's just a fact. Okay, so we got this way too fat ear piece. We're going to push this into our character's head and bring it forward. So what you're going to notice is that this one's clearly like too straight on the camera, and we're not actually able to get the correct roundness from it. So what we're gonna do to fix that is use one of my favorite tools as of recently, the bend deformer in Cinema 4D. So check this out. Right at the top here, see this? You click down and there's this thing called the bend. It's a deformer. So you click on it and it makes this cool purple box. And this purple box is where you're gonna ask Cinema 4D to bend things. So the first step is to kind of get an idea of which direction it's bending. So before I actually do that, you gotta change the size of this box to kind of fit, you gotta fit the size of this box to match your object that you wanna bend. So unless you wanna do some crazy warped art. So and then you gotta place it around the object that you wanna bend. So I wanna bend that ear thing, which is why I'm placing the bend deformer around it. And currently this is way too big in that dimension, so we're gonna just reduce it so it's a little bit thinner, and just keep placing it until it really surrounds our piece that we want to bend. But then what you're going to notice is when we turn up the strength, it's not actually doing anything. That's because you have to make sure that the bend deformer is the child of the pyramid. And what that means is it needs to be the subgroup underneath it over here. This is a child, I think. So what we'll do to test that theory is change the strength, and there we go. So now we're able to bend this earpiece. And now I want to kind of bend it in this way a little bit. And I also am going to want to bend it along another axis. One of these three. And what we're going to do now that I'm seeing it, I want to actually shorten the, or decrease the volume of that bend tool so that it really only hugs against that piece. And then we can exasperate the strength of it. That's weird. It's not actually bending. Oh, you know what? There's another issue. The pyramid right now only has 5 faces. We need to actually add more geometry if you want it to bend, or else it's just going to rotate, and that's not the goal. Let me just check comments real quick. All right, cool. So to do that, we go to our pyramid, and they have an option over here in your object when you select it to have the segments. We can boost the segments. So now it has 12 segments. And you can see them now. It's all these little lines that just got formed. So that's segments in the Y orientation. So you can increase them. So this is like when you reduce it, you can increase it. And then when we go back to our bend deformer now, we should get a little bit more lateral to move, which is what I'm seeing. Yeah, it can definitely bend now. So I'm going to kind of bend it about this much. And then I'm going to rotate the entire pyramid on its y-axis and then slightly forward, and then I want to kind of place this in the right spot. So we're just kind of doing that by, it's actually bending a little too much, so let's go back to our bend deformer and just reduce that. And actually, before I even go further, check this out. You can throw this whole thing underneath a symmetry object so that whatever you're doing on this side, it'll do on the other side of Batman. So we can both see his antenna, horn, ear thingy mabobs. So to do this, I'm going to go to a new object up here. Oops, it's not actually a deformer. It's this one. It's the thing with the things. Just remember that. The thing with the things. It's an array. And you want to use the symmetry object. And what that's going to do is it's going to place a nice symmetry, a nice symmetry thingy right here. And just like before, you need to make the whole structure a child of the symmetry. And now what you see is we have the evil Batman. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna fix that right now. I'm not okay with that. It's not the goal. Batman's like a kind of a good guy, you know. Oops, I keep going full screen. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to go wider screen. All right. So now that we have it as a bend deformer, we can take the pyramid on the this side, and when we bend it and move it, it affects both pyramids. And this is great for getting that nice symmetry down locked. And I'm just tapping the R to bring up the shortcut for rotation. And also I'm noticing that these need to be a little bit more on the sides of his head. This looks all bad. We're gonna fix this. You know what? It's probably being bent too much. I got a little bend happy, so we're going to reduce the bend percentage. And then we can rotate the whole thing back on its Y. Oops. Got to make sure you're right lined up with these things if you want it to bend properly. Oh, I see. We got to grab the pyramid I meant. That's what we want to bend. There we go. This is looking a little bit better. And then we just slide this in. Hey, what's up, Cameron Reed? Welcome. Welcome to another live episode of Creativity with DAIII. Today we are working on Batman. And I got some inspiration of the kind of the Batman movie that's been happening. I was debating on actually making Lego Batman or real Batman. I'm actually not ready to make Lego Batman. I think it might be harder. Let's go ahead and just kind of rotate this character. Maybe in a different tutorial. Oh no, I'm looking at the time and I'm not nearly close to how far I want it to be in an hour. So I might actually need to wrap up soon and then proceed to continue the tutorial at a different time. But right now I just kind of wanted to get close to a Batman character. One that is kind of recognizable. When we render out the frame with the light, we kind of get some ambient blocking. It's not looking all too great. So let me turn on the shadows real quick. Soft shadows. Let me see what we get if we render out a frame. He looks like, can't wait to see the, oh, thanks. Thanks, Kelly. Yes, I'm excited to get to the finished product too, if I can do that in a decent amount of time. I might actually need to pause the broadcast because I have to call I need to talk to a customer about a different project that I'm working on that has some audio stuff due. I really want to keep working on Batman right now. Decisions. Oh, 4 times 4 Ren, gotta go now. Sure, I will turn out great. Thanks. Oh, cool. Take care. 4 times 4. All right, cool. We're live right now on YouTube at the same time, which is how this is possible. Oh, air visual. Thanks. So we're still in the early stages, if you will, of our character design. And let's go back into our knife tool and start adding more crispy details. So for instance, I'm going to go into these cheekbones and I want to flatten the cheekbones just a little bit to be more similar to his mask. So we kind of just go in here with the flatten tool and you see symmetry's turned on, so it's going to flatten both sides of Batman's face. I want that to be the case. So I'm just kind of flattening the forehead. We're going to add furrows and like all those different shapes in a little bit. I just got to make sure that he has a flat face. Whoa, look how pointy his nose is. Let's flatten that. Let's flatten the nose. Okay, there we go. Is his nose crooked? Oh, it's just the lighting. Okay, there we go. I'm just kind of just rotating around our object. Ah, messed up his nose. We're going back in time to a better time. We're going to now use the wax tool. I haven't used that today. And what it does is it basically adds material on top of your mesh. But it's turned on too high, so I'm going to reduce the pressure strength. And what I want to add material is, I want to add material on the sides of his face here. There we go. Wow, his mouth got way bigger. We're going to reduce the size of his giant open mouth right about now. Almost looks like he has 2 giant buck teeth, which is kind of cool, but not what I was going for. So let's kind of just do that. He's like, yeah, yeah. There we go. Grr, he's all mad now. Mad Batman. Oh, now he looks like a little sad. Oh, I'm gonna fix this. Let's bring a little bit more of a lower lip. Perfect. No, I'm just kidding. Where was this before? There we go. Oh, you know what? He has a chin. That's what he's missing. He just wanted a chin, guys. That's all he was asking for. I'm sorry, Batman, for not giving you a chin earlier. I forgot about it. Okay, there we go. So we're kind of just working on Batman's face. Let's render it out real quick with the lighting. Oops, bad spot. Let's try it over here. It's kind of like Batman. Is this mask slightly longer by the cheeks? Slightly longer by the cheeks. Oh, yes it is. So we'll use the grab tool. Thank you for reminding me, Kelly. We're going to kind of grab the cheekbones, kind of bring it up so we see a little bit more of his face. We can make him super skinny. And then we can kind of bring this out. He could be Fat Batman. Fat Man. Fat Man! No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. Let's kind of bring this around. There we go. I'm kind of just adjusting things on the fly. Let's use the pull tool and turn down the pressure quite a bit and just pull some details out in the forehead. No, bad call. Let's go back on that. All right. Batman, Batman, Batman. So thinking the mask comes down lower. Oh, I see what you mean. You want the mask lower. Huh. Okay, I think I can do that. Let me try using the grab tool, but increase the size past the recommended 70. And we'll kind of move his lower parts of his face more underneath it. Wonderful. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just having fun. It's important to have fun when you're designing. Or else, why are you designing? Okay, there we go. We kind of just pull this. Perfect. Now he's Sharkman. Oh my god. Oh. I don't know a good way of moving the mask down, partly because I made it in the same mesh. In hindsight, probably should have made the face a separate layer than the mask. Or, but I didn't know. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Let's do that. And let's kind of just move this down, and we'll decrease the size a little bit. Just the part from his eyes. Derp man. That's funny, Paul DeBear. There's some comments over here. No, we're good. Just the part from his eyes to where it falls. From his eyes to where it falls. I don't understand. I don't understand, Kelly. Help me understand. Alright, I'm going to subdivide our character more now. So this is going to give us a lot more pixels. And now we can use the knife tool to literally cut some furrowed eyebrow details. That was too much. We'll clean that up in a second. Let me just make a few more spikes. And then we'll use the pinch tool to kind of tighten up the openings that those made. Wow, that's really disturbing. We're going to not do that. Cover his cheeks more. Oh, I see. Well, why didn't you say so? Just kidding, you did say so. I just didn't understand. We're going to actually take a step backwards real quick and reduce the number of polygons a lot. Oops. Decrease and then decrease. The reason why is when you decrease the polygons a lot, you're able to grab a bigger portion of it without it messing up fine details. It just does big overarching things. So we're going to push the cheeks a little bit underneath the mask, bring the cheekbones down and kind of flatten that out a little bit. And then I'll bring his derpy mouth. Derp. We're going to just kind of move it down a little bit right here. Alright, so let's try to bring the mask down. This is tough. It's tough to just move the mask without messing up the other geometry. Okay, let's go back to our increased polygons. And let's see, as we're looking at this right now, it's looking worse than where it was before. I'm not totally happy with the way it's coming out. Gotta be honest. He's a sad Batman now. Sad Batman. So I'm just gonna make him really angry because it's not the way that I was hoping. Now we're going to use a giant grab tool and grab his entire face and just move it upwards. Or maybe lower. It's like... Yeah, I'm really not happy where it's going. It's looking too creepy. I mean, most of the things I've been making lately are creepy, but this one's a different level of creepy. Batman's supposed to be a good guy. I don't trust this Batman. And he knows it. You can see it in his face. He's like, why don't you trust me? We were friends. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's try that. Let me render out a thing. All right, so this is kind of where I wanted to be at this time. I don't think this is exactly what I was going for when I was going on to try to make Batman, but it's definitely a lot. It's something more than nothing. I'm just reducing the polygons here. He's a really big forehead. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is weird. But I'm probably going to have to end this tutorial and the YouTube live tutorial. I'm going to have to end them both right now because I got to take a call. And that is about that. Oops. Just want to get these details done right before I close out. Come on, come on. So many clicking. Okay. So many clicks. Yeah, so this is kind of Batman. But yeah. Well, I'll probably have to continue this tutorial. So I'm going to save it. And I'm not done with this. Not at all. We have a lot more work to do. But thank you so much for tuning in to Creativity with DAIII Live. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, just tuning in. It's been great, and we're gonna wrap up right now because it's gonna take more time and I gotta take a customer call. But anyway, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them. If you message me on Instagram, I can get back to you faster than normal. So yeah, or YouTube. And if you have a moment, I would love if you could like the video on YouTube. And if you liked it, if you don't like it, give it a dislike, because that is also very good feedback. All right. Have a wonderful time. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. Bye-bye. All right, so that should end the YouTube broadcast in 3, 2, stop streaming. Stop.